With over 40 countries across the globe now listening to Dharma Drops podcast, the community is growing. And so to meet those needs, I have started the Facebook group, the Dharma Drops Community Page. Here you can hang out, share ideas, get updates, information, and even chat with some of the Dharma Drops guests because they're members of the page too. To find the Dharma Drops community page, head over to Facebook, search for Dharma Drops, DHARMA, Dharma Drops community page, and there you can request to join, and then we'll hang out and have a damn good time. Hey guys, want to hear more exclusive episodes of Dharma Drops podcast? Well, there's good news. By registering for my new course, Feeding the Wildlife, you will have access to exclusive episodes with some of your past favorite Dharma Drops guests, including Rai from the New School Kitchen, Danny from Spiritual Junkies, yoga teacher Logan Wagon-Seller, Tara from Be Uncluttered podcast, and Gabby of Make Your Perfect. In addition to these exclusive podcast episodes, you will also receive 14 days of tips, tricks, methods, and information about how to exist in the chaos of life and thrive in it. Oh, and there's yoga classes and meditations and all kinds of cool stuff. It's only $21 and you get a ton of stuff and you get to hear more I can't even say the name of my own podcast, you guys. Dharma Drops. You can get more episodes of Dharma Drops podcast that you can only listen to by registering for the course. So head over to RebeccaWarfield.com and you can register right there. And you get to keep all of the content for life. So for $21, not a bad deal. Last but not least, before you get into this episode of Dharma Drops podcast, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Dharma Drops on whatever app you're listening to it on. Okay, here we go. On to the episode. This is Dharma Drops with your host, Rebecca Warfield. This podcast is a little bit about yoga, a little bit about life, and a little bit about whatever. And just as a warning, this podcast is unscripted, so that means I might regret a few things that I say. But hey, maybe I'll say some pretty awesome stuff too. Remember, these are musings, not truths. Buckle up, giddy up, because here we go. Because that is not what we want to do. Off to a good start. And I'm clanging my iced tea. It's about to be an epic episode of Dharma Drops podcast.
I have a feeling we're going to laugh a lot and we're going to laugh really loud.
We already are. And everyone listening, so I'm not cutting that intro out. Everyone's listening is probably like, who are these banshees and what are they doing? We all know. Who the hell are you listening?
Who am I?
That was Annie Carpenter's big question.
Really?
In her workshop is, who am I?
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I know. So here we are, full circle.
Snap.
Well, this is your host of Dharma Drops podcast. I don't know who I am, but they call me Rebecca Warfield. And I'm here with my friend and my fellow yoga teacher. Yeah. She's an artist. She's a Prana Pump creator. What else do you do? Oh, she's a cook.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love food. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Cook. I love to cook. Yes.
And her name is Addie Jo Bannerman.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Addie JoJo?
Great. Feeling awesome today. We're sipping our delicious mint green tea.
It's really Southern. I was just thinking like how like 2019 yet Southern. Like I come over with all my tech to record a podcast. Would you like an iced tea? She says. It's like this nice iced mint tea by this like in this little bistro table. So Southern.
Gotta bring the tea.
That's right.
The tea. Yeah.
I know. It's good too. You said it's the Trader Joe's Moroccan?
Yeah, Moroccan green tea mint.
It's really good.
It's so good.
I'm about to go get some.
And it's like $2 and something cents.
Trader Joe's is where it's at.
Yes.
I kind of sort of forgotten about Trader Joe's a little bit. I don't know why. I just kind of did. I went back the other day and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. They make everything really easy.
Really easy. And everything tastes so good.
I know. I love it.
And they're so nice in there.
I know. Their business model is really smart.
It is. And they treat their employees well.
They pay them well. Yeah. I heard that they work their asses off, but that they pay them really well.
Yeah.
I remember when Trader Joe's opened in Wilmington and I heard what their employees were making, and it was far more than I was making teaching English full time at the university level. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, I know. So way to go, Trader Joe's. We love you. And I love your little chocolate covered almond things. with the salt. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Girl, I can't buy them.
I can't buy them.
I can't have them.
There are a couple of things in Trader Joe's that I cannot buy.
The almonds I can't have. What else can't you have?
To be honest with you, the sunflower seed butter that they have there, I will sit and eat the entire jar. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Like, it says on the back, a serving is 2 tablespoons or something, and I'm like, psych. That is not true.
A serving is the whole fucking container.
It's the whole container.
So my thing, and this isn't necessarily Trader Joe's, but I have to stop. Well, I shouldn't say I have to stop doing it, but I need to stop because it's not very healthy. But I like to take a spoonful of Nutella, and then I take that coconut whipped cream from the can. I think it's new, and I spray it on top, you know what I'm talking about, and then I eat it like a sundae.
It had coconut whipped cream.
Oh, it is so good. It's like over in the refrigerator aisle with the regular like cans that you hold upside down. People used to do whippets with them.
Yes.
Or maybe they still do. I don't know. I personally don't do whippets with them, but I do eat the whole can of whipped cream.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That seems to be necessary in that situation.
I'm not vegan or vegetarian, but the coconut whipped cream is really good.
You know, like the vegan cheeses and even like, there's like this other like coconut kefir that just came out.
I haven't had it.
It's delicious.
Is it good?
Absolutely delicious. I'm not vegan or vegetarian either, but I eat vegan cheese all the time.
Me too.
Because I actually really like the taste of it.
There's one by Daya. It's like a spreadable jalapeno one. Oh my God, it's so good.
They have it at Trader Joe's. They have the Miyokos.
Do they?
Spreadable.
Oh,
it's kind of
so
expensive,
good.
but it is so good.
You know, I recorded a podcast with Rye from the New School Kitchen early on when I first started Dharma Drops podcast. And I really liked what she said about you don't have to label yourself as anything, right? I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I like vegan stuff and I eat vegetarian all the time. I just eat what my body needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm kind of laughing inside because we're talking about food because we everyone who's listening is probably like, why are they talking about food so much? Because that's how we bond. We've been bonding over food conversations for years. And one time we were talking about how we talk about food all the time, and it dawned on me that we were flipping through a food magazine. Do you remember?
Yes. We were at the front desk at Longwave. This is just how it's going to go between you and I.
It's just what it is.
Talk about food.
I mean,
and I am totally cool with it.
I'm hungry.
Let's eat some snacks after this.
I know. We can crunch them in everyone's ears. So actually, we're not here to talk about food, but we probably will come back to it. So Addie Jo, you do a ton of things. You're an amazing artist.
Thank you.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Her artwork, she just won the Encore Best Female Artist of the Year award here in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is a really big deal.
Thank you.
But you're also the creator of a brand of yoga called Prana Pump. Can you tell us a little bit about Prana Pump just real quick?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you do realize you came up with the name.
In your class.
In the Prana Pump class.
If anyone ever needs a title for anything, you should let me know. I love to name things.
So perfect. And it was so funny because I think I remember you were in like a lunge twist.
Yes.
Was that what it was?
I think so.
And you looked at me and you said, Addie Jo, you should call this Prana Pump. And I was like, Becky, you are brilliant.
I mean, I try. I try. So if someone were to go to a Prana Pump class, what would they expect?
Okay, so Prana Pump is not your typical yoga class for sure.
No. It's awesome. It'll kick your ass.
Yes, it is its own beast for sure. It's not like your pristine warrior two to an extended side to a reverse to a goddess kind of
traditional
yoga.
Vinyasa.
It's not traditional. It's very very much ass kicker.
You can say ass kicker on this podcast.
Yes, it is very much an ass kicker. So it's yoga, HIIT, and weights, and it's all integrated in this 1 hour class. And it's set kind of in the same sequence as you would sequence a yoga class. So we'll work with the right side first, and then we'll work with the left side. Sometimes it's a little bit different. But I started to develop this because I noticed a plateau in my yoga practice.
Interesting.
It felt like whenever I went to a yoga class that I kept doing the same thing over and over and over again.
And you know, while I just to interrupt you because I'm sorry, that's how I roll. I was just thinking about how there's always room for progression in yoga.
Yeah.
And I think we always hit a plateau. And even in the most traditional forms that do the same series or same sequence every day, they have them in levels, right? Like Ashtanga, you move up a level and now you bring the intensity up and you're learning more advanced things. You know, so that's cool because it's still sort of honoring that we have space to grow.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's cool.
Exactly. And, you know, that's what Prana Pump is all about, is growing.
Yeah.
And about realizing that you kind of have plateaued and then busting through that wall and upping the ante, really.
Yeah. So it's a combination of yoga and high intensity interval training, right?
Yeah. And weights. Yeah.
And weights. Yeah. I remember can't remember what my legs were doing, but I remember having a bolster and like lifting it up and down. I was like, this is really hard. Yeah.
We've been doing this new thing lately in classes, bolster slam burpees.
Oh, shoot.
The people downstairs at Clean Eats are probably like, what the hell is going on?
Prana Pump, that's what's going on.
But basically, it's a burpee. And when they jump forward, they grab the bolster by the handles and they lift it up and they slam it down.
Oh, shoot.
And then they plant their hands, jump back, do the burpee, and then jump forward, grab the bolster, lift it up, and
they put their hands on the bolster. I like that because actually I tend to avoid burpees when I work out because of my back and like getting my hands all the way down. If things just move too fast and I start to lose my engagement a little bit, you know? So having my hands on the bolster, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Because I like burpees with my hands on a weight.
Yes.
So I guess it's same, you know? That's cool.
And when you have your hands lifted up a little bit more, you're able to really pull in your core and tuck in that pelvis and use your lower abdominals a lot better because you have a little bit more height.
Right.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. So I think this is a good segue then into our theme for the day.
Yeah.
Right? So we're talking about yoga a little bit because this is a yoga and a not yoga podcast. But you're really talking about fitness today, right?
I am.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I am.
So I think before we started recording, when we talked about recording, you mentioned you have 5 ways.
Yes.
Tell me again what it is.
So it's 5 bold ways to influence your workout.
Ooh.
And with Prana Pump, it's all about being bold.
Yeah.
Because it is something that's very different. It's not your typical yoga class. It's not traditional. It's made to get you uncomfortable, essentially. So 5 bold ways to influence your workout. And I have, just to give you just a little bit of background, I was very fortunate to grow up with a family that was very active.
Oh, cool.
Very active. We all played soccer. Even my parents played soccer. I would go to
so you grew up an athlete. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I played soccer all the time. In the off season of playing soccer, I would swim competitively. So I was just constantly, playing sports of some kind, and I would ride my bike everywhere. My dad and I would go on runs around the neighborhood together. We were just very active. And so my mom was a personal trainer, and during middle school I would go after school to the gym and basically like wait for her to get off of work. And I fell in love with lifting weights.
Really? Oh my gosh, I need you in my life.
Oh my God, I fell in love. I fell in love with lifting weights, and I was 14.
I have been trying to love weightlifting for so long. Now, I will say when I was younger, I liked things like, what's it called? Body pump.
Yeah.
But now I just feel concerned about the pace of that stuff. Just my body's changed. I'm not old, but I will be 37 this year, and things are just a little bit different, Yeah. And I used to just, lift those weights as fast as I could, and now I don't know if I can do that anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe I could. I should try.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
So I really fell in love with fitness, and I've just kind of carried it with me throughout my entire life. I went through like a little bit of a hiatus because my parents got divorced, and it was really dramatic for me, and I wasn't taking care of myself during that transition, and so I ended up picking it back up and have just held on to it ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice that you have that baseline from when you were younger. Like, you like lifting weights, okay, so you stop for a little bit, but you always have this thing you can come back to. And I have to remind myself of these things a lot too, because I ebb and flow a lot in things. But there's a podcast by Rich Roll, I think, is his name. Is that?
Yeah.
Have you listened to Rich Roll's podcast?
No,
It's pretty good. He's like a super athlete, ultra marathoner, runs like a kabillion miles, and his wife is a yoga teacher. Oh, yeah. And in one episode, his wife was on there, and she was talking about how, we do ebb and flow, and our bodies are ever changing. So sometimes you're going to be like a mad weightlifter, super in shape, and sometimes you're not.
Right.
And that's okay.
And honoring that.
Yes.
And being okay with that.
Yes.
And that's what's really hard, is we think that we have to consistently do the same thing all the time, or we quote unquote fail.
Right.
Like if we stop lifting weights and then we do yoga for a couple of years, then it's like, oh God, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have stayed lifting weights, or maybe I should have done something different. Why didn't I stay with it? Why couldn't I stay with it? And then that's not the case at all.
I get like that about running sometimes, because the best shape of my life I've ever been in was when I ran all the time. But I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Even though I was in the best shape, I was not well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I was not overall well. I had a lot of injuries. Other things were going on, But then sometimes I'm like, damn, I should have just kept running. It's the best shape I was in, But I always come back to that. Our bodies just change.
They do.
They just do. And our lives change. And we can't expect to be what we were 10 years ago. If we were, how much would that suck?
Oh, my God. I do not want to go back to 10 years ago.
How much would it suck if we stayed the same and did the same things all the time?
I know people that say that people don't change.
What? I know. I mean, of course. Well, I hope we change.
Yeah, right. I hope we do. Yeah. I want to change.
Me too. Evolution is good.
Yes, absolutely. Adaptation.
Yeah. I feel like since we're talking about bold, it's a pretty damn bold move to just honor where you are. I don't even know if that's on your list, but it's on mine right now.
It is. It is so bold to let go of the ego and just be like, this is what's best for me right now. Yeah. And it's okay that this is what's best for me right now. Yeah.
It's tough. It is tough. Being bold ain't easy, girl.
Girl. It's not, but we're going to do it anyway.
That's right. Okay, so what's number one on your list?
All right, so number one is let go of your self-limiting beliefs.
So back to things that are hard.
Right. And these things these 5 bold ways are really, they're not easy. Right. They're not easy. But that's the point of them. Right?
Or they wouldn't be bold. Exactly. It's not 5 easy ways. It's 5 bold ways.
It's 5 bold ways. It's like, we're going to make you uncomfortable. That's for sure. So we all have these little phrases and little things that we tell ourselves that hold us back from our true potential. And we make them up. And basically the reason why we do that is because we're afraid of failure. And it's, a biological thing that we have, to do that, because we don't want to put ourselves in situations where we could possibly fail.
Right.
And in order to do that, when you decide to start a workout, which is one of the other things we're going to talk about when you actually decide, when you decide to work out or to start a fitness routine, you have to change your mind before you try to change your body.
Oh, interesting. I just recorded a podcast with an old student of mine, Natalie. I haven't decided the order that they're coming out yet. So there's a possibility that Dharma Drops listeners have already heard that one or will hear it. But she talks a lot about mindset and fitness, that it starts with the mind.
Everything. It's everything. And this was actually one of my favorite Muhammad Ali quotes.
Ooh, doggies! Hey! There's always doggies. And on Logan's episode, there was little cats meowing. We are animal pet friendly on Dharma Drops.
Love them. I love them. But he says, it isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear us out. It's the pebble in our shoe. And I just love that.
That's a really good quote, because even on like the most simple level, if I literally think about having a pebble in my shoe, right, this little thing, it's the worst thing ever. If you take it out, this tiny little thing, you let it go.
Exactly.
Back on track.
Exactly. My self-limiting belief, and one thing that you can help to actually get rid of your self-limiting beliefs, or to at least try to let go of them, is being aware of them. And this takes a lot of mindfulness to do this, but you have to kind of follow your thoughts and follow where they're going. Then once you notice one of those self-limiting beliefs coming up in your mind, then you have to change the pathway of it, and you have to change it into something that's positive. And a way to do that is to actually ask yourself if that is true. If what you're saying to yourself is this 100% true in my life. You know, a lot of these self-limiting beliefs are, I can't because I'm too overweight. I can't because I'm too underweight. I can't because I'm too old. I can't because I'm too young. I can't because I don't have the energy. I
was just going to say I can't because I'm tired.
I can't because I'm tired. I can't because I don't have time.
Oh, that's a big one.
Which is a huge one.
Yes.
It is a huge one. I can't because I don't have a gym membership. I can't because I don't have the equipment. I can't because a doctor told me I couldn't. I can't because my wife told me I can't. My father told me I can't. My mom, whatever it is, we all create this in our head.
And it's perspective. So I was just recording, it's an exclusive podcast for people who purchased the Feeding the Wildlife course that I'm selling, which this is not a pitch. This is just really, I swear it goes right into the conversation.
Yeah.
And I was recording with Danny from Spiritual Junkies yesterday, and she was talking about the importance of perspective. That when we have these thoughts about like, I don't have enough time, to shift that perspective. Easier said than done, right? But rather than, because I often say like, I can't because I don't have enough time. But if I shift the perspective and say I'm abundantly busy, right? But I actually do have 30 minutes. Yeah. You know? It helps. It absolutely helps. It gives me 30 minutes to do it.
It does. It does. Shifting your perspective is so important. And we have so much more control over our lives than we think we do, or that we're aware of. And if we can just take the initiative and just say, I'm gonna start writing my story. I'm gonna take the pen and I'm gonna start writing this shit. You know, I'm not gonna let so and so tell me that I can't. I'm not gonna let this hold me back. My weight hold me back. My the fact that I'm small hold me back, which is my self-limiting belief.
The funny thing is, I don't think of you as small. What?
Well, the thing is whenever I was growing up, I was bullied really bad because of my size.
Kids are such assholes.
I know.
If you have kids, God, they're assholes.
I was always the last person picked, like in dodgeball and hockey, and I was just constantly picked on by people for my size. I mean, I am like a petite person.
Sure, but
so I kind of grew up with this thing like, oh, I'm too small to do big things. And so anytime I'm faced with a heavy weight to lift or a kettlebell that looks really big.
I love kettlebells.
Oh, me too. Oh,
they're my fave. If I have to lift weights, that's what I want to do.
I love kettlebells so much. But if I see one that's big, I'm like, oh, I'm too small. That like weighs half of me. There's no way I can do kettlebell swings with that kettlebell because it's like half of my weight, if not more. You know? And
how tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
Yeah, you are. I mean, you're short.
I'm like shorter.
But I guess like there's people in the world who are small and like they present themselves as small, but you have like a larger than life persona. So I don't really think of you as small. Yeah. And I think that it had to do with that I was picked on so much for being small that I had to kind of develop this big sense of self. For me, you know. So when I have that self-limiting belief come up in my head during a workout, then I have to shut it up. Right. You know? And it takes a lot of willpower. So how do you shut it up? What do you do?
So, you know Melissa Faye.
Yeah.
In town.
Hey, Melissa, what's up?
Hey, Melissa, girl. And her and I have talked about this, and I know that if she's listening, she's like, oh, yes, girl. But she likes to call her, like, negative self. I hope I'm explaining this right, Melissa. But her, like, negative self that's in her head, she likes to call it a name, and she calls hers Cassandra.
What's yours?
Mine is Sasha.
I know we're laughing, but this is actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
It's the same as like even in the yoga practice or meditation practice when they say like label your thoughts, right? It's putting an identifier on it that that's not me, that's not real. It's something else.
And we're taught in yoga that like you are your thoughts. You are what you think. But really, we tell ourselves a lot of shit that isn't true.
Right.
And we need to stop doing that.
What do you think I think Vivian.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Shut the fuck up, Viv.
Yes! That is so good. That is so good. I love that one. It's dubbed.
Viv, that's it.
Yep.
That's actually, I know, again, we're like laughing about it. It's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Because then also you don't have to get into all the story about it, right? Like, oh, well, I feel this way because I'm small and because in 3rd grade, Joey whatever said this to me.
Right.
It's just one word. Done. So smart.
Shut up, Sasha.
Yeah. Shut up, Viv.
I'm lifting that kettlebell. Watch me, girl. Watch me, Sasha. I'm going to do it.
So good.
It's so good. I love it. So yeah, ask yourself if that's true. You know, like, are you really too small to lift that kettlebell? No.
Right.
Absolutely not. That's not true. I can go pick it up. You know, are you really too overweight to run? No.
Run for a minute.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be something that is so drawn out. It can be so simple.
This is really important, I think, for no matter what. And I know that traditionally in the yoga practice, people practice for like an hour and a half or however long it takes to get through their sequence. But I talk about this all the time, doing things that are manageable.
Yes.
You know, if it's not manageable for you to get up at 5 a.m. and do an hour workout, it's not going to work.
Right.
It's not. So, but if it is manageable for you to go on a 10-minute walk on your lunch break, and that's where you're at in your life right now, that will work.
Yes, absolutely. And that has to go with, you know, making time.
Yep.
Which is a huge one. And I hear it all the time. I don't have the time.
I actually gave myself the whole story this morning. I was like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I have so much to do at the record with Addie Jo. I was like, but you know what? I'm already going to be out of the house. I can drive right to the gym, so I put my gym bag in the car.
You told Viv, girl. You told Viv.
I didn't know her yet, but I told her. We just met, but I'm telling her what's up.
And it doesn't, you don't have to have like all this fancy equipment. You don't have to have a gym membership. You don't have to have any sort of weight, a dumbbell. You don't even have to have a mat. You don't have to have any sort of equipment to get a good workout.
That's right.
You can just do EMOM workout, which is every minute on the minute, and you can set a timer for, you know, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and each minute you do a different exercise, and then you repeat it.
Have you seen the Betty Rocker before?
No.
She's really cool. I've done some of her stuff before. I think her specialty is 15-minute workouts, and you don't need anything.
You don't need anything.
You need just maybe shoes. If you're outside or something, you don't need anything. Yeah. It's like mostly stuff in place, and it will kick your ass.
My God.
And she's all tatted up and stuff. And I mean, that's why she's a Betty Rocker. She's like kind of hardcore.
Yeah.
But she's awesome. And it's 15 minutes.
Yeah. If you do 20 squat jumps and then 10 burpees and then run stairs and then do 20 push-ups and then do a 30-second bicycle.
Well, isn't there some research too? And I know I'm not an expert on this at all, but I think I've seen some research that talks about how those 15-minute blasts of exercise are really good for you because it gets your heart working really hard.
And that has to do with your EPOC, which is, I hope I get this right, it's excess post-exercise oxygen consumption.
What?
Yes. So this is basically has a lot to do with HIIT.
Right.
And HIIT got really popular a few years ago because they really started to notice that this is how you speed up your metabolism, you burn the most calories. And it's basically because if you think of your body as a car, so when you go on a very long trip and you get out of your car and the trip has ended, your car has to cool down, right? But it does it slowly. Your body does the same exact thing. And also, if you think of your body as an engine, when you're trying to warm up that engine, if it's really cold outside, for example, and you're out there trying to warm up that engine, and you go out there and you turn the car on, if you just let it sit for a while, it will eventually warm up. But what if you go out there and you rev it?
Right.
It's going to get faster or hotter a lot faster. And so that's basically what HIIT does. And it has to do with your oxygen depletion and your metabolism having to work hard to get your oxygen back to its homeostasis, basically. It's like natural state in your muscles so that you can recover. And they've done tons of research with this on how effective short little bursts of workouts are. So this 15-minute workout you're talking about, that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And you don't need weights. You don't need equipment. Get your heart rate up. Take it back down. Get it up again. Take it back down. Just rev that engine.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so manageable.
So manageable. Get up 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah. Sometimes, too, it's not even for me getting up 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Where am I wasting 15 minutes in my day?
Yes.
There's a lot of time where I'm like, oh, really? Because I just got sucked into Instagram for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
Social media sucks so much time out of our days.
Or I'm like, I'm going to watch one episode of Forensic Files. And then 5 later, you know, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, where can you fit it in? And not only that, but you're going to get rid of some other things in your life that maybe aren't really feeding you the way that a nice workout would.
So you're telling me that murder stories don't feed you? Don't feed me the same way.
You love that murder podcast, right?
My favorite murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend, her name is Lindsay. If you're listening, Lindsay, hey. Hi. She loves that podcast too. And she said that she was just at the vet the other day and they have a bumper sticker.
Oh, yeah. SSDGM.
What is
It's Stay
intro?
Sexy, Don't Get Murdered.
That's it, yeah. And she said she saw the sticker on the car and she freaked out.
It's
and the
amazing.
woman was like, I love that podcast. Oh my God.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They love yoga too.
That's awesome.
It's so good.
That's great.
And if you're listening out there, Karen in Georgia, please just say Dharma Drops podcast on one of your episodes. That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
Just help me take it to the next level.
Next level. Hey, do it. Do it.
So number 1 is to change your mindset. Tell Vivian to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 is, and I hear this all the time too, you're never going to be quote unquote ready.
Oh, interesting.
Never going. I hear it all the time, especially because Prana Pump is something that can be intimidating to people because it is something that's so new.
Well, and especially given that most people are used to a traditional vinyasa.
Yes. And it is offered in yoga studios.
Right.
So people are more used to the vinyasa style of yoga. So adding HIIT, not only just HIIT, but also weights to a practice, they're like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. So it is intimidating. So I do hear this often where it's like, oh, well, I need to wait until I finish this new project I'm working on, or, oh, I need to wait until I get a little bit more upper body strength before I start.
Do you know what I hear from teachers all the time? I have to wait for the semester to end. Or I have to wait for the school year to end.
Yes.
I hear, because, I'm a teacher, of course, of the English language. And I hear teachers say that all the time. I'm going to come to your class as soon as the semester ends. And then the next semester, I'm going to come to your class as soon as the semester ends.
Yes.
And now it's been 5 years.
Yes. Yes, that's a huge one. There's always something that we are going to attach ourselves to that's going to make us not do it. There's going to be some sort of excuse that we're always going to attach to.
So I feel every year at the holidays, I'm going to eat healthy as soon as Halloween's over, and then as soon as Thanksgiving's over, and then as soon as Christmas. Okay, after the New Year, well, it's Valentine's Day. Shit, now it's Easter.
Damn. Oh, well, then it's like a new excuse, right?
Yeah,
it's like a new excuse.
Same.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a huge one. You have to start by starting,
which is the hardest part.
And it's so hard to just start. It's so hard to start.
I forget. I was listening to a podcast with, I don't even know. It might have been Eddie Modestini. He's a yoga teacher. I can't remember exactly who it was, but I think it was on the podcast Yoga Revealed. And whoever they were interviewing was saying that their teacher, who may have been Iyengar, Mr. Iyengar as they call him, God, gosh, I wish I could remember who it was. If you're listening and you know what I'm talking about, let me know. But in any case, whoever they were talking to said that basically some mornings you just don't feel like doing shit.
Yeah.
You get on your yoga mat, you do one pose. One pose turns into two. Two poses turns into three.
Exactly.
Three poses turns into four. And then the next thing you know, you're done. You know?
Yes.
So starting is the hardest part.
Yes. It's so hard, but once you do it, it becomes habitual.
Right.
You know, once you start, it's like, oh, okay, I did it once. Okay, maybe I'll try it again tomorrow. Oh, okay, I did it again the next day. Maybe I'll do this again the next day. And then it kind of just, you're able to embed it into your routine once you just start.
Right.
But the starting, it's like we're waiting for, and this is anything in life. It's not even just a workout. You know, it's anything in life, you know. It's like we're waiting for like the readiness fairy to come and like grant us readiness. And it's like,
I have the best image right now. So you're just crushing my dreams right now. There's no readiness fairy.
There's no readiness fairy.
She's dead with the tooth fairy.
I'm sorry, there's no readiness fairy. Maybe one day I'll dress up as a fairy for you.
You should. You're ready. Okay.
Yeah, so that's number 2. You have to just start. You're never going to be quote unquote ready, like to your standard.
Right. You just
have to start.
You just have to start.
Yeah. And that's really hard.
You know, every time I feel like, God, I don't want to do this today, whether it's my yoga practice or exercise, it's that day that I have the best workout or the best yoga practice. It's the days when I'm like, I'm pumped. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to, exercise for an hour. That in 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I got to get out of here. And the days that I'm like, I can't do it are actually the days that I feel really amazing.
Yeah. And even whenever you go into your workout and you're tired, you come out feeling so much better and with so much more energy because you've just given yourself this big burst of energy throughout your entire body by working so hard and getting your heart rate up.
I also wonder too if it's part the mindset. If you can overcoming that mindset of like, oh, I can't today, I'm so tired. And when you suddenly realize, oh, I can, you just feel a lot better.
Yes, you really do.
It's not too often I felt worse after a workout. Yeah. Every once in a while, like when my back was acting up or something, every once in a while I'm like, oh God. But
I can't think of a time that I ever said to myself after a workout, man, I really regret that I worked out.
Me too. I've never felt like regret. Sometimes I felt like, oh, I wish I would have paid more attention to my back, or something. Yeah. But I always feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Just start, people.
Just start.
You can do it.
Okay, so we have let go of your self-limiting beliefs.
Yes.
What was the second one?
You're never going to be ready. Just do it.
You're never going to be ready. Just do it.
Yes.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3. So you have to set goals.
Oh.
You have to set goals. And don't base your goals on image or a number.
See, this is important because I feel like sometimes I say, I'm just going to do it because I feel better, which is nice, but that's not a real goal, and I can't stick with that. Because then I can get too wrapped up and I have too many other things to do right now. I don't have time to feel better.
Right.
But if I weigh myself, then it's like a fucking shit show out there.
Right.
Yeah. So what are some goals that you recommend setting?
Yes. So figure out mentally what you want to achieve. So if you're looking to have more discipline, have more endurance, stress relief,
oh, that's a good one.
Go take yoga. Mindfulness, go take yoga. If you're looking for self-defense,
ooh, that's cool.
Go take a kickboxing class, which you take, right?
I haven't lately, but I was taking a lot of kickboxing, which I loved.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Jiu-jitsu, like figure out something that you need internally to better yourself and your mind, and then have your workout complement that.
I like that because then it's a contribution to your overall life. It's not really just like, oh, cool, now my biceps are bigger, which is nice if that's what you want. But like you said, don't attach it to image. It's something that actually serves you.
Yes.
Day to day.
Yes. And a lot of the time, and unfortunately, most of the time it's women, they come into the gym and they, and I've heard this before, they say, I want the thin waist, I want to lose this much weight. I want toned arms. I want the 6-pack, whatever. And then they go out onto the floor or they go to a circuit class and they see the girls that are like that. And then what ends up happening? The scoffs, the eye rolls. It's almost like, like, look at that girl over there. She's like doing everything perfect.
Comparison's the thief of joy, right?
Exactly. And it's like, but that's what you're striving to get.
Right.
So instead of feeling that way towards that person, go up to them and ask them what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Let them be someone who instills like some knowledge for you to help stimulate your mind and help you, achieve your goals instead of having it be like an enemy almost,
Unfortunately, I do think women are a little guilty of that. I hope that's changing.
I know, me too.
I feel like the bonds between women, there's been a big movement to change that. And I think it is happening, but what habits die hard. I know. I was just thinking too, one thing that I try to get out of the habit of is looking at other women whose bodies I will never have. Not because not because I'm wrong, because I'm never going to be 5'4" in your size. I'm not. I'm 5'9". It's never going to happen, And so I just think it's important not to think like, oh God, I can never look like her, but you can look like the best version of yourself.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that can steep into yoga practice too, because we're so enamored with the handstands and the hollow backs and the pikes and the balancing on the hands and the head upside down feet here and like all these crazy pretzel poses. And I mean, whenever I first started a yoga class, or whenever I first started a yoga practice, there were times when I felt that way. I was like, why can't I do a handstand? But I didn't want to talk to the girl about it because I felt like inferior almost, And if I had just like gone up to her and like asked her some pointers, it could have like led me to that practice sooner,
Sure.
And I guarantee you that person didn't just waltz up into the gym.
Nope.
Waltz up into the yoga studio. And all of a sudden, after like 5 minutes, or maybe even not even 5 minutes, be able to stand on their hands or be able to lift that much weight.
Every once in a while, someone comes into my class and they can, but then they're like, oh, well, I was a gymnast, right?
Right.
So there's this whole other lifetime of work toward that.
Exactly. Like, it takes hard work and it takes a long time. Yeah. And it takes a lot of dedication.
And it also doesn't matter.
Right.
It also doesn't matter. Right. At the end of the day, who gives a shit if you can do a handstand?
The handstand obsession is like...
Or who gives a shit if you can lift 500 pounds or whatever, right? Are you feeling good in your body and your experiences right now?
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like I should backtrack a little bit because I was talking about things like image, which I know is not the most important thing. Like I was saying, I'll never look like you. But the image part doesn't even matter. Right. It just doesn't matter. Can I feel good today? Can I enjoy my experiences today? Can I be the best version of myself today? Yes. Image aside.
If I can feel good on the inside and work on what I need mentally and have my workout be complementary to that, I'm going to gain so much more from that than if I were to just walk into the gym and be like, okay, I want to stand on my hands now, or okay, I'm going to go lift all of that weight now, or okay, I'm going to lose 20 pounds now, or I'm going to have a 6-pack of abs now. If that doesn't make me feel good at all.
No, and it goes back to what I was saying before, that when I was running all the time, I may have, quote, looked my best, did not feel my best. I'm much more well and overall healthy now, even though I don't, quote, look as well. It's not even look as good. It's not even that. I just maybe my jeans aren't quite as small anymore or something. But overall, much healthier in lots of different ways, not just mentally, but even like my blood work came back healthier. Right. My diet is actually healthier. Yes. Sure, I could run 7 miles or whatever every day if I wanted to, but I was also eating terribly all the time,
Right. It's all a balance. And I think that we can be so attached to the image nowadays.
Especially women.
Social media. Oh, especially
But men too. I read an interesting article years ago. They referenced Hugh Jackman in Wolverine as this new I don't know if it's new, but at least they're talking about it now, men's body image issues, and that there are more men who are suffering and coming forward with eating disorders and body image issues than before, because now there's all this CGI with like dudes with like six packs, because I mean all this stuff, you know, and maybe it existed before, it just wasn't being spoken of. But, you know, so men and women.
And I have heard that from men, too, that it's like, well, it's hard for men, too. I mean, you know, we're expected to have the big chest and the big shoulders and, you know, this sharp jawline and this, you know, tall, dark, and handsome kind of thing. And then, like, the six-pack and, like, all this. So I can see it being an issue for men as well. Just in our whole culture. It's just so saturated with all of these, like, touched up images that we've gotten so much better about it. Especially, I love Target. If you've seen Target's photos that they've put like at the end pews, the aisle pews, and
I haven't been in a while.
Touched up.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's like, it's such a beautiful movement.
That's cool.
To me. It's such a beautiful movement.
I know men struggle with this stuff, but for I don't know, 10 million years, women's value has been placed upon their bodies. So, you know, I'm glad things are changing.
Yes, me too. It's on the up and up.
It is on the up and up.
Yes.
Yeah, girl.
That's right, girl. That's right.
Okay, so number 1 was let go of self-limiting beliefs. Number 2 was, tell me again.
Never gonna be ready. Gotta do it.
They're never gonna be ready. You gotta do it. Number 3,
set goals.
Set goals.
And don't base them on body image or a number. Yes. Yes.
You know, a long time ago, Erin, that's actually how I became a yoga teacher. Erin did this whole New Year's resolution goal thing, like where we would like pick measurable goals. And one of mine was to do 30 days of yoga, which turned into yoga teacher training. And here I am, you know. Yeah. But I also liked having some other goals, like to do 1 pull-up.
Yes.
You know, like, or like to be able to do 100 squats or whatever, you know, just like these sort of measurable, tangible
goals. Ones that are, you know, actually ones that you can achieve.
Yes.
Because we tend to like make goals that are just not reachable at our moment in time, maybe later on, but at our moment in time, like I could not right now go run a marathon, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that. So setting a goal for me
but
right now,
5K would be a measurable goal.
Is exactly is a measurable goal.
Yeah.
So just making it one that you can actually achieve, because once you achieve that goal, then you're like, oh hell yeah, I'm going to make another goal. Right. Like my a good example of that is my current goal. Well, it was my goal as I just achieved it. Yeah. So now I have a new goal. Was to be able to do a pull up.
That was one of my goals. I got sidetracked with my other stuff though.
Hard to do. For some reason, my body and my mind, I just can't.
They're hard.
They are so hard.
I know.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do pull-ups for a while. I'm just really gonna focus on strengthening my lats, strengthening my shoulders, my delts. You know, really just working on strengthening those areas. And my boyfriend brought over a pull-up bar, and I did a workout at home, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go try to see if I can do a pull-up. Girl, I ended up doing 2 sets of 5.
Really?
2 sets of 5.
That's awesome.
Like from the ground all the way up, pulling myself all the way up and then coming all the way down. Damn. And I was like, oh my God, I achieved that goal. That's amazing. You know? And it taught me mentally, like, just take your time. You're not going to get there immediately, but put in the work, strengthen the other areas.
Put in the work. That's the most important thing. And I think about this all the time too, as I'm developing a business, doing all this stuff, that you can set goals, you can ask the universe, you can call it manifesting, but all that does is inspire effort. That's it. Yes. You know, like I set these goals, like I want to reach this many downloads on my podcast this month. Well, cool, you can set the goal. Now how are you going to do it?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And it holds you accountable.
Yep. Totally.
And then so once you get that goal, you're like, man, that's from all my hard work. That is so powerful.
It's awesome.
It's so awesome. It is. So now my next goal is I want to do a muscle up.
Wait, I don't know what that is.
So you basically, it's
like little doggy scratchings.
Little jingles.
Yep.
So a muscle up, you basically, you lift yourself up. It's almost kind of like a pull up, but then you push yourself all the way up with straight arms, and the bar is underneath you.
Interesting.
So I want to do one of those.
I have very little pulling strength in my body.
Oh,
and that yogis, that's one of the only things yoga doesn't do. Erin's always talking about this.
Yeah.
It's like talking about functional movement. What if you're dangling off a cliff and have to pull yourself up?
Push and pull.
you know, there's not a lot of push and pull.
And that's tricky.
Yeah. But that's why we have other forms of exercise.
Exactly. Is that a goal you want to achieve? Well, maybe go try something else and get uncomfortable.
That's right.
You never know.
That's right. Okay, so that was we just did 3, 4? What are we on?
We are on 4.
We're on 4.
And this is a great segue because I just said get uncomfortable, and that's number 4.
Oh. Perfect.
So in order for us to find this growth and to achieve those goals, we're gonna have to get uncomfortable, and putting ourselves in those situations where we have to hold ourselves accountable isn't necessarily a very comfortable thing. Where we have to face these things, face our limitations that we put on ourselves, and be honest and say, me saying that I don't have enough time is not an excuse. You know, I should make more time. And like being honest with yourself in that way, it's not comfortable to do that.
Right.
It's really not. So getting ourselves to that point where we can be honest with ourselves and we can put ourselves in that situation where we can start to achieve our goals, it's not a comfortable thing. So this is something that, and I cannot remember the fitness expert. I was listening to a podcast. It's called The Model Health Show. Have you listened to it? Oh,
it's good.
I'm obsessed. Sean, if you're listening, oh my God, such a great podcast. Like so inspiring, and you learn so much from it, and I just really adore it. So there was this fitness expert on there, and he was talking about the 2 H's and the 2 B's. And this really helped me in my workouts because it helped me get to that point where I wasn't comfortable. So the 2 H's, it's heat and heavy. The 2 B's is burn and breath. And in order to get ourselves to the point where we want to speed up our metabolism and we want to work hard and we want to get our heart rate up to where it should be so that we can burn the calories even after we stop working out, which has to do with EPOC, which we were talking about earlier. We have to get ourselves to these 2 H's and these 2 B's.
So heat and heavy,
burn and breath.
Burn and breath. Okay.
So the 2 H's, heat, of course, you have to get hot enough, get your body warm enough to where you're sweating. Right? Seems simple enough. Right? But I'll be teaching a class or I'll be in a class and I'll see people in there that they're not sweating.
That is never me.
They are
just
not sweating.
So you know.
It's never me either.
Everywhere I go all the time.
I can think about sweating and I'll start sweating.
Me too.
The funny thing about me though is before I started practicing Prana Pump, I wasn't like that. Once I started like really integrating a HIIT workout into my routine and lifting heavier, it's like I remember
so my sister telling me a long time ago, because she used to run marathons, that people who were at a certain level of fitness will sweat a little easier. Yeah. I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I don't have any research about that. So if you're listening, don't go around telling everyone like this is truth, because everything I say is amusing, not truth. I have no idea. Right. But I just remember my sister telling me that. And I mean, I'm just hot natured. I'll sweat all the time. Yeah. It's never me in the class is not sweating. I'm so sweaty. Oh, it's so sweaty. I'm like dripping down my arms. Yeah, my sweat's not beautiful. Oh, mine's not either. I'm not a glistener. No, me I don't either. Glitter. No glitter here, girl. No, I am soggy, girl. I get soggy. It is not a cute sweat. Nope. But I'm putting in the work. That's right. For sure. And so that heat is important. Sweat. Heavy. What you're doing, you should get your body to the point where the workout that you're doing or the exercise that you're doing, your body actually feels heavy. So that's interesting. Yeah. So if you're doing squats, if you just do 10 squats, but after those 10, you still don't feel like pressing your legs up straight, that your body was heavy, you do more. You know, after Andy Carpenter's workshop, we did like 3.5 hours of back extensions. It was crazy. Oh, and I text Angela later that night. I was like, I think my arms weigh 300 pounds. Oh my God. Maybe that's what they mean by heavy. Like but literally though, my arms, I was like, oh. I can't lift them anymore. Yeah.
That's a lot of back bending.
It was amazing though.
I bet it was.
It was really amazing.
Oh, that's so great.
But my arms weighed 300 pounds. And the next day we did a 3-hour yoga practice 2 times. So 6 hours. And then my legs were like 1,000 pounds.
Yes.
Oh, I was exhausted.
So that's, so that's part of the heavy as well. So just going to that point where you feel like your body is heavy. And then the 2 B's, one is burn. So you should feel a burn in your muscles. So instead of, coming into, you bring it into a yoga practice. If you're in an extended side angle and you're not bending that front knee enough because you're resisting that burn, like go into that burn, go into it. You're going to build so much more strength. And then breath. So in order to get yourself to that level, making yourself out of breath.
I also really like, though, how much the fitness communities are talking about breathing.
Yes.
Obviously breathing is important, but I feel like more in the last few years, I've heard so many fitness professionals talk about breathing and the quality of breathing.
Yes. And I've noticed that in the classes that I've taken, like the circuit training classes, that the fitness instructors are saying, breathe.
Yeah.
Don't forget to breathe. Or they'll even cue inhale to go down, exhale to press up, or vice versa.
Even at UNCW, where I teach yoga and soon bar and ballet fitness.
Ooh,
yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
It's going to be really fun. They added a whole section to their textbook for the PED 101 classes about breath.
That's amazing.
So it's like, I think fitness people and professionals for a long time knew this, but it's coming into like mainstream everyday workout stuff, which is really important.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Girl, I will find myself in ballet when we're balancing, and suddenly when we're not balancing, I'm like, because I have not taken a breath.
Yeah. I do the same thing. The same thing, especially when I'm doing push-ups. I notice that I hold my breath when I'm doing push-ups, and I have to be mindful of that.
It's hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's hard. But if you get the breath right, it can help you in the experience.
It can. It can.
That exhale will activate the core.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That exhale, that Sadie Nardini, like, fierce exhale.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I love that. Where it's like, you want to, like, hear that exhale. You want to, like, you want to, like, activate that and squeeze that core in, and then that's just going to give you so much more power.
And I don't know a lot about lifting heavy weights, but if you go into a gym, you hear those guys lifting heavy weights, and they're like, making these like grunting sounds, but that's still their breath.
Yeah.
It's
incredible.
It's awesome.
The breath is so important. I feel like we could talk about breath like for a whole hour.
We can. We can do whatever we want.
Geeking out, these 2 yoga teachers geeking out. But yeah, we don't grow if we stay in the same place. We have to get out of that comfort zone. And those 2 H's and those 2 B's can help you get to that point. If we stay, if we keep doing the same poses, we're going to plateau.
Right.
If we keep doing the same amount of squats, you're not going to gain more strength. You have to get to that point where you keep pushing yourself and you stay just being uncomfortable. And in that process, you're going to learn so much about yourself.
I was just going to say that.
And you're going to be amazed at what your body can do. That's why I started teaching Prana Pump to my students in the first place, because I started Prana Pump because I felt like I was plateauing in my yoga practice. I was like, well, I love lifting weights. Why don't I go buy a set of weights from the Target or the Wall World, whatever, Wall World. And why don't I just incorporate that into it and see what happens? And then I started incorporating the HIIT. And Becky, my strength grew so quickly to the point where it exceeded any other workout program that I had ever practiced before. My warm-up started to be what I started working out with in the beginning.
I think I remember you telling me about this, that just watching the growth, and that you kind of started off small and then it just continued to expand into this like long exercise routine. And I started to become amazed at what my body could do. And in that, I developed this very deep self-love that I hadn't had before of my body, and just loving my body and respecting my body.
and having more of a bodily acceptance, because I was always picked on for being small. And so for me, gaining muscle is really hard. It's always been a goal for me to gain muscle. And so, you know, just to be strong. I just want to be strong. You know, I want to be able to like kick someone off me if I need to kick someone off me. I want to be
stay sexy, don't get murdered.
Right. You know, like I want to be able to handle myself. You know, like I want to be able to take care of myself and to be strong. And so I wanted to offer that to my students. And after I started teaching it at the studio, students started telling me the same thing, and they started sending me messages like, I'm so strong now. I can't believe that I'm able to do this now. I wasn't able to do this. And the most important thing that I got from those messages, they always told me, I just feel like I love myself more.
That's so awesome.
And that is what Prana Pump is all about. It's not about a body image whatsoever. It is not about a number. It is not about staying the same. It's about busting through that comfort zone. And in that process, you're gonna be a badass beast.
You better believe it.
See it. And you're gonna believe it. You're gonna believe it, and you're gonna see it, and it's gonna seep into your life in so many positive ways that you're gonna carry with you throughout every single day. And it's so powerful.
It's amazing.
There was this one student that I had, her message, it put me to tears actually. She would come to Prana Pump, and she would come from work. And, you know, in the dressing room, there's a mirror. So she would change out of her work clothes before class. And then she'd put on her yoga clothes. She'd go to take class. Then she'd come back after class, and she would change into her work clothes again. And she said that before she stepped into the room to practice Prana Pump, she would always look in the mirror that was in that changing room, and she would judge herself for how she looked. And after class, she would come back in that same changing room and change into her work clothes. And she said she would look at herself and she would be like, wow, I'm so grateful for my body. And I'm so grateful that I can do these things. And I'm so strong.
It's so awesome.
It's like, do you see what I just did? Like, I am so strong. And that's what it's like. If I can do that for one person,
then job well done.
Like, you know, like my life is complete.
You know, I was backstage at a performance I was in, I guess it was earlier this year, and 3 of the dancers in the performance were yoga teachers. And we were talking about this, about how you can look in a mirror in the morning and be like, oh, God, I'm a fat ass. Like, nothing fits. I don't know what to wear. And you do one workout, and you're like, dude, look how fat
right?
You know?
Like, oh, my arms got swole.
I know. That. And there's part of it, I think, and Erin talks about this a lot, part of it is because, like, your muscles do tighten, right? And so things do look a little bit different. But, like, just witnessing what your body can do, changing your mindset, challenging yourself, it just shifts the entire perspective. Because really, there might be a little bit of change in your body between before and after class, but not as much as what you think, right? It's all about what you think.
Yes.
Because you can go into Prana Pump and you're wearing the same clothes when you leave. You have not lost 10 pounds. You've not really changed that much, but your perspective and your mindset has.
Exactly.
And along the way, your body does change, of course.
Oh, of course.
You know, but
and I always say in my Prana Pump classes to, you know, let go. If you're here for a body image, let that go. You're here for yourself and what you need internally. And I try to tell them that, you know, in order to get to that space, you do have to get uncomfortable, but it's not about that body image. And if we can just see our true potential, we can just allow ourselves to start.
Yes. Right? Going right back to the beginning here.
It's all full circle, and give ourselves that space, that safe space to be like, okay, I'm going to show myself what I can do. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And also to be okay along the way with the bumps in the road.
Exactly.
You know, because some days you're like, well, shit, that didn't work out. You know, some days I'm like, the yoga practice teaches a lot about this. Some days you can hop right on up into a handstand, and some days you're like, I can't even touch my toes. goes, you know? So honoring where you are along the way.
Yes.
That in itself will change your mindset, not just in exercise, in your whole life.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's not about the body and image. The body image is just like a side effect of you feeling good on the inside. Yep. It's going to radiate. Yep. It's going to radiate, but you have to feel good on the inside first, and you have to do that mental work.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I think it's so powerful. Once you find yourself in that space, you're like, damn, wow.
So good. Yeah, it's exciting.
So good.
Okay, so what's with the fifth and final one, yeah?
Fifth and final one, and I love this one.
Okay.
This is so important. Find your tribe.
Oh my gosh, you're the second person to say this. So in the podcast that I just recorded with Danny yesterday for the Feeding the Wildlife course that I'm selling, that was one of her rules, is to find your tribe.
Find your tribe.
So important.
Yes, it doesn't matter if it's a yoga tribe, if it's a CrossFit tribe, if it's a cycling tribe, if it's a jiu-jitsu tribe. Find your tribe. But make sure that it is one that is healthy for you and that has the same goals that you're trying to achieve, and that you're surrounding yourself with these people that have the same values as you when it comes to being healthy and
the type of exercise you're doing. Yeah. I don't mean this as a judgment at all. So people out there in the Pilates world, I'm not judging you. We just don't always jive, right? We're from like two different like things going on. Like the yoga and Pilates, there are some similarities, but sometimes I've tried to do these Pilates classes and like I don't get them and they don't get me, and we're kind of staring at each other like, I don't know how to talk to you. Right. Just no one's doing anything wrong, you know, but it's not my tribe. Right. It's not my people. It's not your tribe. And so I'm not excited about going back.
Exactly. And it has to be somewhere you're excited to go, and you have to be around those people that motivate you. Yes. And that get you excited about working out. Like, working out should be fun. Yes. You should be excited to go, like, see these people, hang out with these people, and get inspired by them and have them push you. To get uncomfortable. You know? That's the whole point of it. And it doesn't matter if it's, you know, CrossFit or if it's yoga or if it's both.
And that
it can be more than one thing.
And that you can be vulnerable in front of. Yes. Right? Like, I mean, usually my tribe, I would say, is like a yoga tribe, if you will, or my pack, or whatever you want to call it. And that group of people, if I fall out of a handstand, if I fall out of Bakasana, I'm not like, oh God, they probably think I'm so stupid. They're probably like, oh, not even paying attention, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really, we just know what's going on in each other's practices. We've been practicing together so much. But if I go to something new, like I went to a bar class recently, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what was going on. I just didn't feel really comfortable there. You know?
And you get that feeling, and there's, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, it's just who you are.
Right. You know? Like I said, no judgment.
No judgment. So you find your tribe, and those people are going to lift you up. It's so important to surround yourself with positive people and people who aren't full of drama, and people who have healthy lifestyles, and surrounding yourself with negativity or people who judge you, or people who may be more about the body image aspect of it. You know, maybe it's not the right tribe. Just
and again, nothing wrong with them.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with them. You're just on two different
paths. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So find your tribe. And I will tell you, my Prana Pump tribe is pretty awesome. The first time I saw a student run across the studio room and high-five another student after burpees,
that's so sweet.
I was like, man, oh man, this is going somewhere, because that's what it's all about. You have to lift each other up. And at the end of Prana Pump class, we all take our mats and we form a circle in the center of the room, and we talk to each other. And it develops these like really special relationships, and that's what I want Prana Pump to be. I want Prana Pump to be like the Trader Joe's. Right? Full circle. I want Prana Pump to be like the Trader Joe's versus the Food Lion, you know, of the yoga hit world. I want for people to come into class and feel special and have that experience where they're like, man, I just got uplifted. You know? Yeah,
it's good. If you are not with a group of people that you don't feel comfortable with or uplifted, you're just not going to go back.
Right.
And that's true for anything. If you go to work every day and you don't feel like you're a part of things, or if you don't feel uplifted and you feel beat down every day or less than, you're probably not going to last that job for the rest of your life.
Right.
You know, or if you're in a relationship, that relationship is not going to work out.
Right.
Or if you're trying to make it work, just leave.
Yeah. Right.
Just leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Just leave.
Just leave. You know. But it's true. That's what I love so much about things with the body, is that the relationship we have with movement is the mirror image of the rest of our relationships.
Yes. Yes.
Mirror image.
Beautiful way to say it. Yes. Absolutely. Like I said, if you're feeling good on the inside, it's just all gonna come out, and it steeps. It steeps like tea.
Like tea, like Trader Joe's Moroccan mint tea.
Yes,
good,
so good. Yeah. So.
All right.
That's it, man.
That's all 5.
That's all
So
5.
just to recap, we had number 1.
Yes, let go of your self-limiting beliefs.
Number 2.
You're never going to be ready, just do it.
Number 3.
Set goals and don't base them on image or a number.
Number 4.
Get uncomfortable.
Number 5.
And find your tribe.
All right. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I always like to wrap things up with things that have nothing to do with anything.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get into that, first, if folks want to get in touch with you, if they want to practice with you, study with you, follow you, whatever, I was going to say stalk, but don't stalk her. Just don't.
Yeah, not the best idea.
No.
I got 3 dogs. I don't think.
But if they do want to get in touch with you, where can people find you?
I am on the gram at About a Yoga Girl and Prana Pump. And you can, if you want to learn more about Prana Pump, you can go to pranapump.com.
Cool.
Which is really great. I'm hosting another teacher training.
Oh.
I'm so excited at Terrasol Sanctuary.
And that's in Wilmington, North Carolina. We have listeners now in over, oops, sorry guys, that was my phone. We have listeners now in over 40 countries. So, yes, God. Australia and Sweden have been bringing it. So, hey,
Sweden. Hey, Australia. How's it going?
Hey. They're probably like, God, these two. God. If they've made it this far, they're probably like, fuck. But so if you're in another country or a different part of the United States, if you land somehow in Wilmington, North Carolina, you can do a Prana Pump teacher training with Addie Jo, or you could follow her on Instagram and learn more, and you could host her at your studio in Australia.
Yes, I would love that. Yes, I would love it. So fun.
Cool. So we got Instagram at About a Yoga Girl.
Yes.
And Prana Pump.
Yes.
And then pranapump.com.
Pranapump.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So Addie Jo, I really hold in my heart that all of these things are true, but sometimes there's just stuff in life that's really fun. And if we get too obsessed with fitness or too obsessed with yoga or too obsessed with this and too obsessed with that, life's a real bum.
It is.
So what are you doing these days that you are loving? Like books, podcasts, TV, movies. What are you doing?
Oh, all the things. Oh, God. Oh.
So what are you watching on TV right now?
Oh. Okay.
I'm just laughing. This is why everyone gets really excited. I have all these people come on and they like talk about the things that are really important to them. I'm like, what are you watching on TV? And everyone gets like really close to the microphone.
Like, oh my God.
Because they really want to talk about it.
Let's get really serious. Let's get really serious. So my boyfriend Taylor and I, recently we got done with the OA.
Jane and I talked about the OA on Dharma Drops. That show is so good.
Every episode, Taylor and I are both just jaw drop at the end of it.
Aaron hated the ending. I loved it. Oh. No spoilers. We won't tell you what happened. But Aaron hated it. I loved it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. We just got done actually last night with the 3rd season of Stranger Things.
Oh, which is good. Yeah.
Which is good. Yes.
I've had the Never-Ending Story Never-Ending Story song stuck in my head.
It's so funny you say that because I woke up in the middle of the night last night and I had that song stuck in my head.
So I was singing it the other morning, and Aaron got on YouTube and he looked up like this compilation of theme songs from the 80s, and it was just like moving through all these things from the 80s, maybe the 90s too. It had to have been some of the 90s, but the Never-Ending Story was on there. And then, do you remember the old cartoon Gummi Bears? Did you watch that? You're a little younger than me.
I think so.
So I forgot all about the Gummi Bears and their theme song, Gummi Bears, bounce dancing here and there and everywhere.
Oh, I think I've heard the theme song.
Yes, I know. They are the Gummi Bears. I've been singing the goddamn Gummi Bears song.
Oh, that is so great.
It's forever. I forgot all about the Gummi Bears cartoon.
You know what song I get in my head sometimes?
What's that?
It's the most random. I don't know why I get this in my head, but the Gumby song, and it'll randomly come in my head, and I'm like, how did this even arrive in my mind? Where did this even come from? Gumby, he's here and he is here to stay. What is this?
Sometimes I don't know where stuff comes from.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird where it's just stored back there.
It's so weird.
Okay, so Stranger Things, Gummi Bears, Gumby. Anything else that you're watching, listening to, or loving these days?
I'm obsessed with the Great British Baking Show.
Oh my gosh, I watched the Christmas one. It's so good. And there's this little British lady. Also, sorry, UK, you've been bringing it too, but there's this sweet little British lady. She's like, it's snowing. And I love her so much.
I love that show. It's so, you know what I love about it is these like American cooking shows are so serious and dramatic. Like if they drop something, it's like the end of the world and people are like in tears and being yelled at. And it's like the music and the lights, it's like dun, dun, dun.
It's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic. But this show, it's like if somebody makes a mistake, they just laugh. They just laugh about it. And it's so lighthearted.
I really like the Christmas one. It's snowing in the tent.
I haven't watched the Christmas one yet. I need to watch the Christmas one.
It's good. It's July. It's Christmas in July. You can do it.
I love it. I love it. Oh, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Girl, it's hot as shit here. You need something cold.
Oh my God, it's so hot.
It's not as hot as it has been. For those of you that don't live in Wilmington, North Carolina, we had a heat index of 111 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know what that means in Celsius, but just know it's really hot.
It's really hot. It feels like Campbell's soup out there.
It's terrible. It's as wet and thick and disgusting as Campbell's soup, too.
Yes.
I know. We live in a swamp.
You can't, breathe, really.
Speaking of the importance of breath, you can't. You can't. Nope. So I've been watching a lot of Forensic Files because you can watch the collections on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And there was one yesterday that I watched where it took place in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she moved to Wilmington, North Carolina. So I was like, okay, hater. And Aaron and I made a pact that if we ever want to leave each other, we're not going to kill each other.
Pact.
It is a good pact.
It's a good pact.
It is a good pact. I was like, I have no need to slip some arsenic in your drink. We're good.
We're good. Let's just make that pact right now. Let's make it very clear. I'm not going to kill you. It's all good.
It is good. Addie Jo, any favorite books?
Oh, well, I might be a little bit biased. But
your boyfriend
is a writer.
That's right.
Yeah, Taylor Brown. Mm-hmm. He writes like Southern historical fiction, and he's brilliant.
Where can we find his books?
Anywhere the books are sold.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and he is coming out with his next book, actually. I'm like a total advertisement right now.
That's okay. I'll try. I'm only going to charge you $10,000 per minute to talk about this.
But he is coming out with his next book in March of next year, and it's called Pride of Eden, and he actually just let me read it.
Oh, so you had like the scoop.
I got the scoop, girl.
Ooh. Don't say it on air.
Oh, yeah, right, I know. But it is so fantastic. It's based off a wildlife sanctuary.
Ooh, that's cool.
And how these big cats... There are more big cats in captivity in Texas than there are in the actual wild.
Aaron and I were talking about this recently.
It's crazy. And I'm pretty sure it's North Carolina and South Carolina that don't have the law that says that you can't own a big cat as a pet. So you can't have a raccoon, you can't have a squirrel, but you can have a tiger in North Carolina or South Carolina. It's really weird. Which is very odd. But that means that these cats get out, right?
So what is that? There's two places in the world that I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Texas and Florida. Because they all have these crazy animals. And I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know if it's like a thing, like a legal thing or laws or whatever. But everyone has these like crazy animals there.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's what his book is based on.
That's really
these
interesting.
Cats getting out and like what happens in this kind of a weird thing. I don't even know how to explain it. Where these big cats are roaming around like abandoned homes and like people's backyards, and how odd it is.
This is like my dream and my nightmare.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's got like this dreamy, like nightmarish kind of thing.
Like, here,
where it's like,
but like, don't eat me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's really cool.
So I do really love his books.
You're allowed to be biased when your boyfriend's an author.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I think I am.
I feel like I read less these days than I have in recent years, but I'm really into listening to books.
Yes.
Because I am a little pressed for time these days, but I like to listen to them. And I just listened to Oprah Winfrey's A Path Made Clear, which was good. But sometimes I don't know about all these people. Yeah. It's really easy to talk about, like someone she was interviewing that's in the book was like, I was really exhausted. I just had to like make this space for my spiritual path, which I don't disagree with. But she basically like quit her job and all this stuff. Easy to say when you've arrived at the point where you're on Oprah. Easy to say, right? If you are so like successful in your life that you're on Oprah, sure, quit your job, go on your spiritual path. The rest of us are all just going to sit here and figure it out.
We probably wish we could get to that point, but
I know.
Right now,
it's not that I disagree with what she's saying, but it's just coming from a place that a lot of people I think are like, I can't go live in an ashram for 6 months right now. It's just not going to happen. But other than that, it's a pretty good book.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love books. I wish I had more time to read, but that's an excuse. I could make more time.
That's right.
I'm calling you out, AJ. Hey, that's Sasha.
That is Sasha.
That's Sasha.
That's
Sasha telling me, you don't have enough time to read, AJ. Well, you know what, Sasha? Watch me read today.
Yeah, that's right. I really wish everyone could have just seen your body language. It was like salty and sassy and everything all at one time.
Bring a little bit of that sass to Sasha. She needs to be told.
Yes, she does.
She needs to be told. What's the deal?
Vivian and Sasha. I don't know about these two.
I know.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with the Dharma Drops audience?
I can't think of anything unless there's anything else you want to ask.
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
An hour and 20 minutes.
Damn.
We did it.
We did it.
And we didn't talk about food that much.
But, we really didn't.
But my stomach's been growling.
Oh my God. And it's so funny because I ate right before you came over, and then of course I'm already hungry.
Me too. I'm pitta. I move through that food, man.
I know. It just like disintegrates. I'm like, wait, didn't I just eat? How am I already hungry?
It's time to eat again.
I know. We've been talking for almost an hour and a half now.
Yep, that's right. So friends, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Dharma Drops Podcast. If you want to learn more about things happening with Dharma Drops, you can head to Instagram at Rebecca Warfield Yoga and at Dharma Drops Podcast. And you can catch up with all of my shenanigans on RebeccaWarfield.com and DharmaDropsPodcast.com. But as I mentioned before, they go to the same place. So it doesn't matter which one you type in. Addie Jo, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
So fun.
So much fun.
Yes.
All right, guys. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Dharma Drops Podcast. Don't forget to head over to Facebook and join the Dharma Drops Community Page where we can hang out, share ideas, have fun, and just shoot the shit together. So head over to Facebook, search for Dharma Drops Community Page, and bada bing, bada boom, you're there. On Instagram, you can find me at Rebecca Warfield Yoga and at Dharma Drops Podcast. And of course, you can always head over to my website, RebeccaWarfield.com and DharmaDropsPodcast.com, and check out all my shenanigans there, including you can register for the Feeding the Wildlife 2-week course on my site. Okay, until we meet again next time, bye.